Buck was in, how long were you in the government?
2005 to 2010, the agency.
State Department?
No, officially CIA.
CIA? Okay. The people who are leaking the information, we have about 10 sources. They are not, they're afraid. They're afraid. What is going through their head at this point, and what are they risking?
Well, they obviously think this is of extreme importance because the risks they're taking are considerable. I don't know the levels of classification they may be working with here in terms of what they're distributing. This is not information, for example, that I dealt with, so I don't know what level it is. But assuming it would fall under the National Security Act and national security protection in terms of secrecy, they could be facing serious federal prosecution.
So,
and I just want to say, that is always something, by the way, that is very politicized. Who gets away with the leaks, who don't get away with the leaks. This administration has set a marker. They've made it very clear that if you do anything that embarrasses them, you are in a whole lot of trouble.
Right, where everything that is coming out now, we would, if this were happening in Bush, we'd get a Pulitzer Prize, right?
Yeah.
We'd get a Pulitzer Prize for this. They'll go to prison if they're caught. What is their life like? What are they worried about now? I mean, how does that happen? How do they find you?
The way it works is that there would be a referral to the Department of Justice. The Department of Justice would look at it. Now, the DOJ, Eric Holder's DOJ, they decide whether this information is something. There are lots of these that happen all the time, by the way. DOJ insiders will always say, we get a lot of these, and most of them are kind of bogus, because the government classifies a lot of things that are actually public knowledge, which is a very scary Orwellian place for us to live. But for people like me who used to be in the government, you always have that sort of Damocles hanging over your head. Maybe they'll decide this time it's classified, even though everybody knows it. As bizarre as that sounds, Glenn, that is the position that they take on some issues. But the real position they take is, does it embarrass the administration? Because a lot of times, that's the demarcation, that's the marker between federal prison and, hey, buddy, don't do that again.
Can they just walk in and say, everybody gets a lie detector test?
If you're in their employment, absolutely. Yeah, they can polygraph you, and that's one of the ways that they can go about finding who a leak may be. I mean, they run you through the polygraph.
And you say no.
If you're the guy who says no, the job's a lot easier for them figuring out who's, in fact, possibly leaking. So, yeah.
Does anybody say no on principle?
Oh, there are people who will resign. There have been some people in the past, and this is public knowledge, who have leaked stuff and then sort of walked out and decided that they were done and weren't prosecuted. And that was just a decision made inside the national security complex.
Your thought if these guys are caught, prosecuted or let go?
If they're caught, and in fact the information they're letting go is classified, which I'm not saying I can't confirm or deny to be squirrely. I legitimately don't know. If it were classified and they're passing on to a press organization, I think they'd have to lawyer up, Glenn.
Okay, so here's the thing, America. The reason why I asked Buck this question is, I think this should be a really good sign. I think this should be something that people should take and say, you know what, there are good people. The government's not all bad. There are good people. There are patriots out there that are trying to do the right thing. I can't really say the same thing for the media. I haven't seen anybody really reach out and try to do this. I believe, Tiffany, are we still exclusive on this story? Do you know? Yes, we are. That's amazing. But in the government, believe it or not, there are good people. Please help us get this information out in a credible, accurate way. Back in just a minute.